Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another edition of the Ultra Confusion Thursday Night Hangout. I am your host, Charlie. I'm joined once again by the prolific cover himself, and back successfully from Minnesota, Zealeus.
Yo! What's up?
Nothing much, man. It was interesting not to have you last week, but it's okay. We found a
I heard it was
guest host.
spectacular and that she was much better looking than I, at least.
Well, yes, that goes without saying.
Wait a second. That kind of hurts my feelings, man.
Anyways,
Nice.
we were able to offer up to a
Just gonna drink my
graphic.
beer over here
Yes,
in the
yes,
corner.
yes. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, as I start every single podcast or video broadcast, I will give you a little bit of my magic elixir.
There's really nothing magic about it. It's how to do it,
It's
not to do.
delicious.
There's nothing-
magic.
But magical, implies there's some kind of mysterious aura about it. There's something mysterious about not a do.
You don't know, man. You just don't know.
No, I have no desire to know your diet.
You don't know.
It's gotta be the full authentic do without
You
this
just-
diet crap.
Whatever, dude. Okay, so look, I gotta watch my girlish figure, all right?
I don't know what you're talking about. You're talking about the Ron Hawkins in this case.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, let us go right into it. There was some controversy that happened late last week, and I want to get right to the bottom of it.
When is there not controversy?
I know, seriously. There's always controversy in video games. The controversy surrounds a certain highly anticipated sequel, or I guess next iteration of a game called Shenmue.
Okay.
Now, it was kind of weird, but the developer behind Shenmue came out during the Sony E3 talk.
Yep.
And said, "Hey, we're bringing you Shenmue 3. It's on Kickstarter." And everyone goes, "Yeah!" And some other crazy stuff. But, okay, so everyone starts donating like crazy because they're like, yes, finally, Shenmue 3, which I'm going to be honest with you, I've never played a Shenmue, so I have no idea.
That sounds like Shamu the whale.
No, it's not Shenmue, it's Shenmue.
It's not a game about the whale?
No, it's not about the whale.
Okay. That's this one. I thought it might be like Echo the Dolphin coming back.
No. Okay, so anyways, so here's the crazy thing that's caused everyone to be in such an uproar. So, first of all, a lot of people are like, well, that's kind of weird. Sony's giving some stage time to an independent project. Okay, that's kind of cool. All right. Everyone's like, okay, cool.
That on its own is okay.
Thumbs up to you, Sony, right? So everyone starts donating. And then the news comes out that Sony's actually backing the project.
Wait, what?
Yes. So here's the deal. And something that has got a lot of the backers very confused, and at the same time, and they have all absolutely full rights to do so, they are concerned because now Sony is really the power to be. So it's no longer the developer who's creating an independent project, which means independently they can make their decisions. Now they're basically tied to the Sony wagon, and ultimately Sony could have the ability to affect the end result.
And we all love Sony. I mean, everybody's a huge Sony fan.
And so a lot of people are going, well, what the shit? Why? What? Just give me my money back. I don't want to back something if Sony's already going to basically put up all the money. First of all, Shenmue apparently was supposed to be in the range of this is going to sound crazy, but a lot of industry experts were basically predicting that a full Shenmue game on this generation of console would probably cost somewhere in the ballpark of $30 million. And they were only asking for $3 million on Kickstarter.
I thought it was 2.
Is it 2?
I'm
It might
pretty
be
sure
2.
it's 2.
Well, maybe it was 3. Maybe it had reached 3 when I looked at it.
Very well could be.
Which was last Friday. But, so everyone's going, okay, well, that's okay, sure. Maybe they've got some, secret stuff and they just need a little bit of extra to get them over the top. Now, of course, Sony's come out and said, hey, we're doing it. And basically, to even further the insult, Sony basically said that they asked the developer to put it on Kickstarter to gauge the interest before they were going to put all the money in for it.
What did we talk about last week? Do you remember what we talked about last week?
Remind the audience.
Well, last week, this exact thing came up about, this kind of trend towards developers or publishers really in this case, looking at using Kickstarter not as actually like their fun to develop the game, but to be gauge interest. A sounding board like, hey, we raise $2 million for this game, then we'll put in the $10 million we need as a developer to actually make it work.
Right.
That's what this pretty much sounds like on Sony's part.
It is. It absolutely is. And so a lot of people are thoroughly pissed at the result of this coming out because, you know, first of all, it's got this. It will now have the Sony taint, and I'm speaking from experience. When you add the Sony taint to something, it kind of makes me go the other way.
And look, nothing associated with Sony belongs in Kickstarter. That, to me, is the antithesis of the idea of Kickstarter. Kickstarter is, to me at least, about a small, probably a developer, because you probably don't have a publishing arm, who's like, hey, we need, I'm just going to throw out a number, $2 million to develop this game.
Right.
That's going to develop this game. It's not like, oh, we're going to raise $2 million, and then Sony's going to magically influx us with $20 million, because it might be a hit now. To me, this defeats the entire purpose of Kickstarter, and it kind of goes counterculture to what it was for. So to me, I just hear like Sony and Kickstarter. That's no. It's kind of like, guess what? If you think Shenmue the Whale is going to be a great game, then by golly, Sony, put your money. Don't just be like gauging interest using random Kickstarter projects, because now it's going to be the next Kickstarter project. Like, who is this next Kickstarter project stealthily funded by potentially? You know, is it going to get this magic factor, and all of a sudden now this other company is going to fund it because that's what they're doing. They're just gauging the interest.
Right, and I think that's the issue at heart, is that there are now going to be those people who are going to come into any Kickstarter that has a known entity attached to it, thinking, okay, I don't need to kickstart it, someone else will, because it's going to be a popular enough game, but it's really not going to matter what my money, what my money does, because Sony's going, or Microsoft, or whomever is going to back it. Now, I know there are a lot of people who would make the argument, well, what about all those games that get kickstarted, and then they do like the Ouya Fund, or Greenlight? Those, the product has successfully funded, and they've created something, or they're in the process of it, and they entice the individuals to add their platform to it. Right now, Shenmue is going to be a PlayStation 4 exclusive. It's not coming out to anything else. That's what's pissing people off. Is that, if Shenmue was also coming out for the PC, and Sony wanted a piece of that action, it might be a little bit different, but because it's an exclusive PlayStation 4 thing, and now Sony's come out with the $30 million they're going to throw in there, that is causing the issue.
And I kind of wonder, because, over the years, when there's been controversies over different Kickstarter issues, Kickstarter, I think they've done a pretty good job of making the right decisions.
Yes.
In terms of like, okay, somebody screwed over all of the backers and they ran away with thousands of dollars. Now we're going to say, okay, if you don't come with your product, or if it doesn't look like you are, you got to return all that. So I think Kickstarter's done a pretty good job in terms of making it keep that independent developer feel, not just for video games, but for all creative projects. And I kind of wonder, looking at something like this, how is Kickstarter going to look at the idea of somebody like a Sony, or it could have been Microsoft, or any other big AAA product for all we care?
Could be EA. I mean, it could be EA or Activision. I mean, it could be something more than just.
Because I think the reality is, say Shenmue works out. Say they get the X amount of $1 million, and Sony backs and becomes a hit. You know what's going to happen next? It's the EAs and the Sony's already doing it. Microsoft's the world be like, hey, we can get basically a free $5 million from Kickstarter. And guess what? Now these tools got to go buy and purchase the game again for $60 when it comes out. This is brilliant. So the bean counter is going to look at this and be like, why wouldn't we do this? I mean, this is like a bean counter's dream come true right here.
Okay, so but here's the question I have, because you basically said, you gauge the interest, you get like $5 million, and then people have to buy for $60. So what happens to those Kickstarters? The individuals who put the money in, I mean, I'm assuming that if they paid at the level where you're supposed to get the game, you're still getting the game,
This is true. You're right, yes.
So, I mean, you're still going to get those added bonuses. So, yes, you're going to get some exclusive collector stuff. But at the same time, it is a very, very dangerous thing. Now, I'm totally for, an independent developer or project person coming out with this amazing thing, and it comes out, and people see it, and all of a sudden it catches fire, and EA wants a piece of the action. It's an established product that's already out in the wild, and then someone wants it, absolutely start
I
throwing
agree.
money.
That's
what you
different.
want.
That is different.
That's what you want. But Sony coming out while the Kickstarter is still live and saying that we're going to back it with $30 million, that kind of scares the shit out of me for future projects with bigger names attached to it, or for either the developers or the title of the game.
Yeah. So it's definitely one of those, you know, you hear slippery slope all the time.
Yep.
I think this is definitely slippery slope when it comes to Kickstarter.
I agree.
In terms of your video, especially when it comes to video games, where is that money actually? And to be fair, so I think it's like Wise or something, YS. Like, developer came out and was like, hey, all this $3 million, whatever it's been raised so far, not a cent is actually going to us or Sony, which is kind of the whole point of Kickstarter. It's actually going to the people. It's going towards the development. But they come out and said that to kind of try to justify this whole Sony thing, which is like, okay, that's great. You're doing exactly what you're supposed to do with Kickstarter. But that still doesn't help answer the whole Sony equation of the whole entire... That's what people are having issue with. Not where's the $3 million going. It's we all kind of know it's not probably going towards Sony's pockets because you can't really do that with Kickstarter. It's the rules where it's not supposed to work that way. I'll put it that way.
Right.
But it still doesn't absolve the fact that Sony's now a part of this Kickstarter project, and Sony obviously have the pockets not to justify using Kickstarter.
Right. Right. Yeah, absolutely. And it just it really rubs me the wrong way because I was a Kickstarter-aholic. I of course have cut down a shit ton from my early days of Kickstarting.
It's kind of weird not coming over every Thursday and seeing like a new Kickstarter on the front curb. Like, ooh, what can I open up before Charlotte gets home?
So yes, I have toned it down because I've spent way too much money. But yeah, this just, hey, to each their own, right?
So let's say, hypothetically speaking, you are CEO Kickstarter. What, if anything, would you do in response to this as far as like Kickstarter rules? Or is it just, is it something that you can do anything about? Or is it just like, hey, this is the reality of the situation with Kickstarter, that this can and may happen?
See, that is the thing is Kickstarter gives you a lot of
leeway?
No. A lot of people go to Kickstarter. It gives you a lot of coverage for free.
Okay, yeah.
So it is a great sounding board. I know that a lot of people are like, well, why don't you just do like a survey and then people will vote for the game to show the support. And the thing is a lot of
basically Greenlight.
Yeah, it's basically Greenlight, but at the same time, Steam does pay a little bit. I think Steam pays a little bit of money for Greenlight. But at the same time, the thing is, Kickstarter has more coverage. They a lot more people go to Kickstarter, and if it's a big project like that, it's going to be featured on the front page, which is of course going to give you more eyeballs. And then because
the thing I would be worried about is if Kickstarter goes the other way and like say they overreact to this,
right?
And they like put so many rules in place where now if you're kickstarting something, you're like, should I even put this in Kickstarter, or am I running afoul of the rules? I don't even know anymore.
Right. Well, I mean,
because you don't want to restrict it too much, I think, and start like locking people out potentially.
Right. And the end result is that if you were to do just a survey, right, to basically gauge interest, a lot of the people say absolutely. But the thing is that people could be on different IPs. They could be, manufacturing false data. And the fact is that when you kickstart, when you actually put money into it, that means that you're actually interested. You're not just like, well, what the hell? Yeah, I want that sequel.
Online surveys have bullets.
I know.
You see it all the time. I mean, Time.com, or Time, now Time.com, when they come out with the Person of the Year award, just look at who is, based on actual internet votes, who's winning. It's always like some spam by like Reddit or 4chan. That's who always wins, because that's where your internet works. Look at the Kansas City Royals.
If
nobody follows baseball, basically it's down to 7 now. But one time the Kansas City Royals, as of like a week ago, had 8 players starting in the All-Star game. Now, Kansas City's actually a pretty decent team, apparently, in baseball. But probably not deserving 8 All-Stars. But it's because they're gaming the internet voting system. Now, this isn't about baseball, but the whole point is they're gaming that system for baseball. Guess what? Any system's going to be gamed when it comes to online internet voting.
But the difference is when you put a monetary value to it, then you can actually get true data, because you're not going to have people who will spam the vote, because that vote will cost you. Yeah, it might cost you $1, and some people might spam it that way.
I agree. But you're also gonna eliminate a lot of that low hanging fruit by having any kind of monetary transaction involved. I totally agree.
So if I were in Kickstarter shoes, there's nothing you can really do, because with that money, it's outside your realm of like control. And who's to say that money, someone could promise a lot of money one day and then pull it the next. I mean, that's what you have a lot of fraudulent pledges that, hello, Captain Goldilocks. Goldilockses?
Luxes. I like. The one thing I would like that maybe could help is maybe, because I don't know, when this went on Kickstarter, initially, was there any kind of mention about this whole backing behind Sony? So maybe it's some kind of requirement of, hey, full disclosure of potential financial investors. If you're going to say potentially, if you raise, Sony's going to be backing this monetarily, you have to be upfront about that.
But what if you don't know right off the bat?
But in this case, they did.
Right. Well, of course they did. I mean, they got a piece of Sony's E3 presentation. Yeah. So yes, absolutely. Bless you.
Ooh, allergic to Luffy. Luffy. I'm saying up front, if you know. You're right. Like you gave the example of, a month down the road, EA comes and says they're going to give you a chunk of the pie, and that's different.
Okay, we're talking about Shenmue and Sony, and basically, about how a lot of Kickstarters are Captain Goldilocks asked what we're talking about, and that's of course the Shenmue Sony thing, and a lot of people getting pissed off about the fact that they're even kickstarting it, and Sony going, well, we wanted to gauge the interest, and that's why we had
because basically Sony has no place doing Kickstarter.
Well, let's be honest. Sony is not really. This is the crazy thing. Sony. I know there's Sony fanboys out there, but let's be completely honest. Sony doesn't give a shit about games. They see they have a multimedia platform, and they are totally okay about other people putting games on there. But they basically sold away their one and only first party studio. So yes, they'll publish, they'll help you if it's a big enough title where they know they can see the green, the dollar signs.
Cha-ching.
But so that's the crazy thing about this damn thing.
It's crazy, man, and it's I could foresee other big publishers doing the same. I'm kind of surprised they haven't actually tried already, to be honest.
Yeah, I am a little bit surprised that we haven't seen this before. I think a lot more people like for better or for worse, you're going to see a lot more skepticism when it comes to the bigger titles.
But you're also going to see, I think, a continuation of the trend, even from smaller publishers and developers, to use this as a gauge.
Right.
We'll see, okay, how much money can we collect? And they're not going to really do any real development until they even come close to hitting that goal. I think that's what's going to happen. I think you're going to see it more and more used as a gauge to see, can we even make this a game? And I know that goes counterculture to what you're saying, because you're saying, I know you've said a number of times now that if you
have to have a beta.
And I think I could see it actually going the reverse, where companies are going to see this more and more as a conceptual to use it as a gauge.
Well, I know for absolute certainty, I will not back a concept.
Yep. Which I think is a good call, because, why am I backing something that has no actual gameplay? Seems kind of silly to me.
Okay, let's go into a little bit of other news that's got us giggling, and that, of course, is the fact that the new Batman game for the PC has been pulled! Not only has it been pulled so that from retailers, so you cannot purchase it, but if you have already purchased it, you can actually get a full refund. Now, of course, if you want to continue to play the game, there is like, I think they're doing some patching and stuff, but apparently it's like graphical glitches and like just game crash glitches and all kinds of crazy.
I know a lot of the big issues if you get into the Batmobile, apparently, which is a lot of the game, apparently FPS frames per second just crashes out. Nice. So the game just has a lot of issues. I've seen some online videos of people playing the PC console, and it basically looks unplayable in certain spots. It's a lot of the games, if they had issues, it's usually because they're either on the AMD video card or the NVIDIA card. Like one card is more optimized than the other. Nope, this game, it's both video cards are just sucking monkey balls on it. So it's another case of it was made originally for the consoles, and from everything I've heard, the console version is spectacular. But then you get to the PC port, and it's shit-tacular.
Which is kind of funny, because it's like it's mirror opposite of The Witcher 3.
Ooh, good point.
The Witcher 3, mind-blowing amazing on the PC, and then like they downgrade
but it was playable on the console, at least.
Oh, absolutely, yes. It is playable, though there are some little little quirks to the game that just drive me nuts.
Yeah,
because I have it for the Xbox One.
Nice.
But okay, so we are still in an age where really broke ass shit can get out into the wild, and like heavily anticipated game.
And not like an original IP. We're talking the third sequel in a trilogy.
Right. We're talking about established franchise. It would be like, for you sports fanatics out there, it would be like Madden 16.
Where you can't pass the ball.
Where if the running back, if the quarterback hands the ball off to the running back explodes.
That'd be awesome.
It would be awesome.
New game mode!
Bomb ball! But I mean...
It's like Noonan Football League.
Yeah. But that's the thing, though. I remember a time, and this dates us, but I remember a time where the game either, when it came out, it either worked or it didn't. And if it had a couple little quirks in there, you just had to live with them. Yes, we are now on the age of patches and whatevers. But at the same time, for a company to literally pull everything, that is crazy.
What the fuck is going on with QA? Seriously, like, was there no quality assurance testing
for this game? It's like Assassin's Creed Unity all over again. I mean, that's really what it is.
Sure.
Look, if for those of you who don't know, when you're dealing with a AAA studio, when you have to deal, or excuse me, any title that revolves around the publisher for one of the major consoles, or for PC for that matter, the thing is that the cost of games is skyrocketing. It costs a lot to make a game. So publishers give you these hard cutoff dates, and they're not all that flexible. And we're talking about even established names for games. Assassin's Creed and Batman. You would think that you would take a little bit of extra time to make sure that you've ironed everything out. Now, I understand that, well, Assassin's Creed Unity was just bad all the way through. The Batman one was, solid on the consoles, just crap on the PC. I understand that, that you want to have all the releases as close as possible. But if it's, hello, Big Bad Apex, but if it's, but if the game is not playable, you are going to cause the chance of losing your fans forever is much greater than saying, wait, hold on, I know you're going to be pissed off at us, but we need to fix this.
Here's what I don't get that. Okay, so we're always, every time it comes out, AAA titles like ballooning production cost. You look at a game like Witcher 3, it costs $10 million to produce, which, compared to the AAA titles, is like pennies on the dollar, basically, when you look at what it's compared to cost to the AAA titles. So, The Witcher 3 has had pretty dang good reviews from across the board. So what is it about these AAA titles that are causing their cost to balloon and just go astronomically high when we've seen that you can get games like Witcher 3, which are quality video games that cost a fraction of what the AAA titles are costing? Like, where's all this extra money for the AAA titles going?
I think...
I mean, it seems like there's like... I don't know. It just seems like there's like these production costs are going astronomical, but it's like, where the hell's all this money going? Probably production, probably like advertising, really.
Yeah, well, a lot of it goes into marketing. A lot of it goes into licensing for like engines and all that stuff. Apparently, it's not going into QA. I mean, let's just be honest. QA apparently is just going whoop. But with all honesty, you know, AAA titles are less likely to outsource their QA. So one of the issues, and I say this a lot with independent developers as well, and maybe this is also happening with the AAA titles, is if you play a game, if you're constantly testing a game from when it starts to when it ends, you are going to get used to the quirks. You're going to know how to work around it so that you can play most of the game, because that's what you're trying to do. You're trying to get the full picture.
Yeah.
That being said, there is something to be said when you have a
third party,
a fresh set of eyes on the game, try to play it, to find those things that now the QA testers who have been there forever are now blind to. But the money, part of it probably has to do with team size. When you have a AAA title, you have a lot of people working on it, animators and artists and riggers and AI programmers and HUD and GUI and just UI in general and whatever. There's so many, you know, intricate little pieces in there that I'm sure that the cost is astronomical. Now, of course, you know, you're going, well, what about, you know, some of the other really amazing games that don't seem to cost all that much? Okay, maybe they know how to budget their money better. I really don't know. I mean, when it comes to The Witcher you got to be a little bit careful with, because The Witcher isn't actually a U.S. game. When you talk about Batman, which is Warner, and Warner's the publisher. I'm not exactly sure who the developer is. It might be in-house. That's U.S. Ubisoft is Canadian or U.S.
I do know that
studio.
That Red Key Studio, the maker of Witcher 3, they do get subsidized by the government as a video game production company. Now, again, is that $10 million the actual production cost, or does that include what the government is helping out with? Right.
And I don't know.
I don't know either.
You know, I'm sure that you could probably, I'm sure somewhere there is a breakdown of how much the overall cost is and how much people threw in. I'm sure that might be public knowledge. I'm not exactly sure. I just don't, I know that, you know, the actual, like, how the money is spread out is probably not available.
Like, this person got paid $80,000 and this person got paid, probably not.
Yeah, no.
You're not going to find their finance documents on an Excel, well, it's probably on an Excel spreadsheet. Unless you're working for Sony, then it's probably on the internet.
Yeah, it's probably all out there.
Yeah, because they get
along with all of their employees' social security numbers, personal phone numbers, their home address, the names of all their children, and their credit card numbers.
That's good. I'll keep that in mind if I need a credit card number tonight.
Yeah, just hit up Sony. Nope.
Sony.com. I can find it. I can just log in. I like it.
Just find an actor or actress who's worked with Sony and take their stuff and.
Yeah, Tom Cruise has got money to spare.
They work with Sony? Yeah, he's probably worked with Sony.
I'm sure sometime along the lines, one of the studios has been somehow affiliated with Sony.
Right. Okay. So, so with this, I mean, I know that this is kind of a rare occurrence. Thankfully, it's a rare occurrence where a game comes out and just falls absolutely on a platform. But at the same time, I mean,
But I think we can look at it two different ways. We could look at a game like Elemental.
Okay.
Okay, no, that's good. Yeah. This is a number of years ago, but I think there's a difference between the two, though. Mm-hmm. Elemental. So this is a hyped game. It was supposed to be like the predecessor of
the spiritual successor to
Master of Magic, which was a game we all loved as kids. It's a 4x4 magical / civilization game. Mm-hmm. But I think the thing with Elemental, though, is it's not the gameplay is broken. It's just the actual gameplay itself was just shitty.
No, it wasn't shitty. The problem was there was nothing to do.
But that's what I mean. Like the gameplay just sucked.
Okay,
that's what I mean.
Yes.
Like it wasn't like you couldn't click and move and build your city. It's just that there was nothing to do in the game. Yeah, versus a game like Arkham, where there was stuff to do. You're just going to do it because it was broken. So I think there's a difference between a game that fails because it just wasn't a quality game.
Just don't ever take the Batmobile. Just walk. Yeah. Okay, just walk everywhere.
And a game like Batman. Mm-hmm. Where if the bugs were aside, it would be a quality game, but there's so many bugs they can't even play the game.
Right.
So I think there's a difference between the two.
Right.
Of just a shitty game, which I'm not saying it's right to buy it. Like, take Diablo 3, for instance. It wasn't a shitty game. When it came out, probably part of it was so damn overhyped by everybody. That it came out, and it let everybody down. It's not because the game wasn't broken. It's not because you could attack. It's just because, like, wow, this is kind of a letdown. Which to me is much different than the case with Batman.
Right.
I can accept a publisher or developer really coming out of the game that maybe doesn't meet my expectations. I'm like, okay.
But it's playable.
But it's playable. Like, okay, it kind of ticks me off, but I can live with it.
Right.
Versus a game like Arkham, where you just can't play the game because it's broken. That's kind of two different issues. Because one is just QA, which you're just not doing your damn job. Mm-hmm. And what is, probably with, like, Diablo 3, they probably thought they were coming out with a quality game. I mean, they liked the game. They thought it was good. And then they brought it to the public, and we shat on it. Thank you, Real Money Auction House. Which has not been in existence for a while now.
Now, we did, speaking of Real Money, we did go, myself and our guest host last week, Alex, we went over Real Money with the announcement that Studio... 343? The studio that's behind Halo 5 came out and said, yes, there's going to be real money purchases in-game. And they went and said, there's going to be some armor skins, and there's going to be some weapons, and then there's going to be vehicles in there as well. Which, of course, raised a lot of eyebrows. Like, whoa. So you're saying that if I have to pay real money to get, like, super guns and super vehicles. And I'm hoping, fingers crossed, that we're talking about, like, you can pimp out the look of your gun, the look of your vehicle, because, of course, you're going to be your Spartan armor as well.
Yeah.
I would hate, because with a big-name title like that, to introduce a pay-to-win mechanic in a series that's been around forever would just be crazy. Oh, wait. I think Call of Duty does that.
I don't play COD, so I really couldn't tell you. But I agree, I don't like the idea of pay-to-win either. Does anybody actually like the idea of pay-to-win? People obviously pay for it because they're probably so invested in that title and they do it anyways. But I think from a philosophical standpoint, most people aren't, unless I guess you're like the 1% of, Donald Trump. You're probably like, damn it, I don't like pay to win because it sucks and it puts everybody on a, different playing field, not based on your actual skill level or how many hours you invested into the game.
Right.
So most people, I think, are in the same boat of you and I, where we're like, we don't like play to win. But I think at the same time, most of us are fine with skins. I don't see any issue with purchasing skins. I mean, if you want to purchase skins or cool-looking guns, more power to you.
See, the thing that really would burn me is if you put the pay-to-win mechanic on top of a game in which you spent $60 just to play the game. That would drive me nuts. Now, I'm totally... That does not extend to DLC. I know a lot of people would go, well, DLC could technically be a pay-to-win type scenario. And that one is a little bit...
But don't they also sometimes separate, like, legacy, they call them, like, legacy accounts, versus DLC accounts. So they're not
Yeah, they
necessarily
could.
playing with each other.
Well, I mean, the thing is, in many iterations past, the Halo matchmaking has been basically the top matchmaking system in the world. So perhaps they will have a pay-to-win thing, but they will weed out those individuals to only play against individuals who are also paying.
And you know what? If they do that, I'm actually fine with it.
Yeah.
If you have a tier where if you invest, let's just throw out a number, more than $10, because I could see having some kind of threshold for pay-to-win for the regular tier, but say more than $10 in pay-to-win gear that actually increases your stats, then you're in a different tier. I could live with that.
Yeah.
And then keep the rest of us who say spend less than $10 and pay-to-win are on the same tier. That I could actually see. But it's when if you throw the people who don't pay any monetary value for pay-to-win stats versus people who do pay, that's what would tick people off.
And I would go one step further. I would say that for those individuals who do not pay, who just bought the game, there should be an option where you could toggle the ability to be matched up against those who do pay, just in case you are one of those elite gamers and you want to play stiffer competition.
I can see that. If you have, if you want to, more power to you.
Hey, I'm totally okay with it. Yeah. I personally will not be toggling that because I'll probably not be playing multiplayer.
I'll be playing Call of Duty 16.
No.
I'm actually playing Final Fantasy 14. Heaven's Sword.
Did that come out yet?
Yeah, it came out yesterday, actually.
Huh.
I'm not actually playing the expansion because, okay, totally off topic.
Okay, go.
But basically, every single MMO on the face of the planet, they do things where, like, say the end of this edition is 2.9 was like the last of the storyline for the core expansion. What a lot of them do is the expansion is, let's call it 3.0. As soon as 3.0 hits, basically your character is now up to all quests and everything at 3.0. You are now caught up on all quests and everything.
Okay.
As far as the main storyline goes. Nope, not Final Fantasy 14. Final Fantasy 14 does it. Well, if you're still back at patch 2.2 out of 2.9 for the main quest, guess what? You're finishing your damn main storyline from 2.2 up to 2.9.
Okay.
And then you'll unlock to get to the quest on 3.0 for the expansion. So that's why I've not actually played the expansion, because I have not actually caught up on the main storyline for Final Fantasy 14 to be able to play the expansion.
Okay.
I know it raised a lot of controversy in the community of like, oh my gosh, I have to be caught up on the main storyline for Final Fantasy 14 to actually play the expansion?
Yes.
But I will say two things to that. One, because I've purchased the expansion, but logging in and playing the main storyline, guess what? There's absolutely zero difference in the game for me right now. So those people who are concerned about having to pay for the expansion, guess what? You don't actually have to pay for the expansion until you beat the main storyline, because there's no reason to. So in that regard, if you don't like it, guess what? Just don't buy the expansion until you beat the storyline. And two, I think it's pretty unique, because that's one of the things that's driven and made Final Fantasy XIV unique, is it actually, for MMO at least, has a pretty good storyline. The main storyline is actually engaging and it actually has interesting stuff going on. And Square Enix made the decision like, hey, let's continue that main storyline and actually make that player get invested in it by making him do the storyline. So to me, I don't really have an issue with it, because you don't really have to buy the expansion. And it really continues that trend of the storyline and Square Enix making it integral. And the other thing too, well, actually, Charlie wouldn't like it though, because in order to actually finish the storyline, you actually have to like engage in multiplayer dungeons.
Screw that! I'm out!
The thing is, you know me, I played a lot of MMOs.
Yes.
And the community, I think, at least for Final Fantasy XIV, is easily the best community I've played with. You know, I came in, I started playing again about 3 weeks ago, and I hadn't done any of the new high-level dungeons. None of them. And every single one of them where I've gone into, like, hey, I don't know what the hell I'm doing, people are like, oh, that's fine, we'll rock anyways. So as far as an MMO goes, when you go into these multiplayers, I've never had an issue with having the ass hats in my groups. Now, you always hear stories, even like on the Reddit forums, you're always going to have the people who are like, oh, I have this terrible party. That's going to happen in any video game.
Right.
But for me, as far as the community for playing in that multiplayer where you have to, it's gone pretty dang well for me. So that's my gaming love, right? That and Sproggywood.
Oh, Sproggywood!
I'm playing it on my Mac now.
We brought it up several times now.
We
but
just can't get
one more
out of it.
time. Sproggy Wood by I believe it's Freehold Games. It's on the PC. It's on iOS and Android. You can also play it on the Mac because it's through Steam.
Yep.
Solid game.
You know what I love about Sproggy Wood?
What's that?
You purchased the game for $10 or however much it was.
Yes.
And you have the game.
Yes.
Because if this was from, like, who made Farmville?
Zynga.
If this was okay, because there's 6 classes in the game.
Mm-hmm.
If it was Zynga, you'd be free to play. You have to pay, but then for each level, you have to pay $2 to unlock the next level.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and you'd also have energy, so you can only complete 1 dungeon a day unless you pay to play more energy. Oh wait, but then there's also your 6.
How about the special items?
Oh, there's special items. Oh, guess what? You can pay to win and buy special items, both with in-game currency, and you can buy magical crystals to buy it in-game. No, there's none of that bullshit. None. And it's kind of sad that it's refreshing to play a game.
When you pay once and you're done?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You just play what you want. But
absolutely.
Yeah, it's a very well done game. And the funny thing about Sproggy Wood, like, it's not like it has spectacular graphics or audio or anything, but it's a video game. Like, this video game could have literally been made 15 years ago. Okay, maybe 10 years.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm exaggerating.
Yeah.
10 years ago, this could have fit in 10 years ago and been made as it is today.
Mm-hmm.
But the public or developer came with the idea, like, let's make a turn-based RPG game.
Mm-hmm.
Brilliant!
Mm-hmm.
And it is. So.
I like the art style. I like the monsters. The difficulty is.
It gets crazy. Like,
it does get harder, but it's not like insane like you want to bash your head into a wall.
Okay, you know the ones I really hate that drive me nuts? Because it depends on the class you play too, which makes a difference.
Yeah.
When they get those damn, like, flying fish that are tethered to each other.
Yes! God damn it! Stay in the fucking line!
Yeah, because someone... Okay, so here's the thing. So you're on a grid. So you move around in a grid because it's turn-based. You have to move in your grid. So you get to, the last couple of dungeons, and there's these damn fish, and they're tethered together. And the only way you can destroy them is you have to kill both at once. Mm-hmm. And the thing is, and this is sometimes where the imbalance of the class works a little bit, is some classes work really well killing multiple enemies at once. For instance, you get a warrior. Boom. You put on your shield wall, you run in, and you cleave, and you kill them both at once. Problem solved.
You can do it with the farmer as well.
With the bomb, yes.
No, not even with the bomb. With you can upgrade your pitchforks so they go in 2 directions. Yeah. You could do the vampire where you pull from adjacent enemies to recover your health.
The problem is that's such a low HP that could.
Right, I know you would have to. I mean, you would have to do that over and over and over again. You'd probably lose your stamina at that point.
But some classes work much better than others against that.
Archer would be.
You have to get it in a line.
Yeah, you would have. Yeah, you have to shoot in a line.
But it's a fun game. It requires thinking too, because you have to plan ahead.
This is the way I play Sproggy Wood, and I don't buy the items. I just buy the upgrades in the town, so that I level up faster.
Yep.
And then I just hope that I can stick around long enough to find enough treasure chests to give me the items I need.
The one I did level up immediately was reduce the cost of all items you purchase.
Oh, absolutely.
But if you're not purchasing items, you don't need to level it up.
No. Because eventually I want to unlock all that stuff because when you unlock all that stuff, you're going to gain a lot more gold.
Sure.
And then when you have a lot more gold, then you can pick and choose your armor, your weapons, your accessory, all that stuff.
The Master Potter.
Yeah.
That's what I was
thinking. Yeah. Heck yes. You do the Master Potter and you do like a vampiric sword, and you are set.
No. See, when it comes to the weapons, I gotta do one that has either the curling flame of ultimate width,
right,
or the freezing one, because it's kind of fun having those crazy effects going on.
So, anyways, check out Sproggy Wood. I mean, that's really what it boils down to.
I think we talked about it last month, but it's a good game.
It is a solid game, and we did post our review of the Android version.
And I do have video gameplay up of it.
And Zealeus has video gameplay. It is now no longer underneath the review section. It's now under Quick Peeks. So, there you go. Was there anything else we wanted to bring up, sir?
I'm sure there's something else going on the way, because we mentioned the Kickstarter thing was one of the things, and then the Arkham was the other big thing. Okay, so here's something to bring up, so we have a lot of time left.
All right.
Is late last year, EFF, the Electronic something Frontier.
Freedom Frontier.
Thank you, Freedom Frontier. Okay, so rewind a little bit. So, thank you. So you have the DMCA, which is a Digital Millennium Copyright Act.
Oh, here we go.
Which has a whole bunch of copyright stuff, blah, 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 blah. What happens, though, is every year, you can, like, basically petition the overlords to make provisions for exceptions in the DMCA. Like a couple of years ago, they got to pass that you could legally jailbreak your cell phones. Congratulations. Even though people did it anyways, but whatever. So what
People did that?
So what the EFF is trying to petition for is to basically have a exception in the DMCA for abandoned video games. And this really kind of came to light this past couple of weeks because with Nintendo basically abandoning their online video game service or multiplayer service for a lot of their games, people are now wanting to set up their own private servers to play these games they can no longer play online because Nintendo has abandoned that service. But the ESA this last week came out basically in an interview. It was like, we're not going to allow that because, you know, now with X,
once a game, always a game.
Exactly. Once a game, always a game, and publishers and developers can always come back and re-release the game. Obviously, as a gamer, I love the idea of basically abandoned video games to be able to continue to function. Now, I could see, you know, I think it can work both ways, though. So say, I'm going to throw out, let's say My Little Pony comes out. And we now have our video game, and we're now making it. I think one thing is important is that, A, we're not making money off of it. I think that's a reasonable expectation.
Right, absolutely.
That we're not making money off of it, I think is fair.
Right.
And two, I think if the publisher of My Little Pony comes out 10 years down the road, it's like, dudes, guess what? We're releasing My Little Pony. You probably need to stop doing your thing. I think that's pretty fair. Also, that publisher has the right to say, because we are actually re-releasing this, or they have some actual legitimate reason, that guess what? You need to stop doing whatever you're doing with it. I think it's a pretty fair situation also. But I think of it as a video game has truly been abandoned, and there's a number of games that are never ever going to be re-released. Let's just be realistic. I think it's fair that people of the modding or online community can kind of repurpose that so people can play the game. I think it's fair.
Yes. I know that there are. I know that, you know, the ESA is like, you gotta stop that. But I know for a fact that there are quite a few groups out there who have their own server farms. There was once upon a time.
You're probably not going to find them on Google.
A game called Star Wars Galaxies. And it was a phenomenal game from what I heard. And then someone decided, let's just change everything.
Gee, what company would this be?
I don't know.
Okay.
But anyways, so there are server farms out there.
Sony Online Entertainment.
There are server farms out there who have who run the before Shittown version of Star Wars Galaxies, so people can actually play the game that they love, not the game that Sony shat on.
Because hey, I know that the same thing with World of Warcraft.
Right.
They call it, vanilla back in the day before any of the expansions and the 40-man raids when it was hardcore. Same thing. You have private, old school servers for World of Warcraft setup. Same exact concept of Star Wars Galaxies. And I think, okay, I know if they go to court, I know that, the online servers would lose in court. Let's just be realistic.
Right.
But I think from maybe I'm a bit of idealist, I really don't see an issue with it, particularly because these servers, they're keeping on the down low. It's not like they're out on You know, they're not on Kotaku.com. Or UltraConfusion.com, for that matter. Advertising, hey, come play in our private Star Wars Galaxy servers and come take away money from the developers, etc. I think it's one of those things where, especially if they're keeping in the foreground, it's never going to become like formally legalized, let's be honest.
Right.
That in that regard. But I also don't think it behooves the publisher to go after those private servers if they're minding their own business. That's the way I look at it. Because if they're that dedicated to the old school 40-man raids for World of Warcraft, let's be honest, you just shut down their servers, they're probably not going to come play Warlords of Draenor.
I mean, so... I mean, you know, I have a ton of games that I'll probably never be able to play simply because the computers are too fast, or the server's been shut down. So, yes, as a consumer, I would love the ability to play some of those old games. At the same time, I do understand that, you know, developers, it's the same issue. It's sort of the same issue that you run into when you're purchasing used games. Mm-hmm. But with one caveat, no one's making a profit off this. See, okay, so but here's the question: are we saying the games that, let's say, for example, World of Warcraft, World of Warcraft Vanilla, are we saying that that someone could go onto a private server and get a free copy of World of Warcraft Vanilla and play it, or are you saying that you have to have World of Warcraft already available and it basically you just reinstall it from the beginning? Because
I see what you're saying. From what I know, this was probably over 5 years ago I looked into this, so It's been a while. Right. At least back in the day, you had to actually have a copy that you purchased from somewhere of World of Warcraft. For all I know, that could have changed by now.
Right.
Where you could have like an illegitimate copy, I don't know. But at least back in the day, you actually had to have like WoW installed on your computer.
So but that's the one little shady area.
Okay.
If you're allowing someone to play a game for free through using, you know, like, but at the same time, you know, you can't play it any other way. I mean, you know, there's so many little like twists and turns.
Well, MMOs, they also are kind of because it's a subscription-based model, right. It kind of creates a different gray zone versus like Final Fantasy, let's say like Masters of Magic, which you obviously
never had.
Hot seat.
Well, yeah.
Hot seat master. Anyways, like you can't really buy that online.
Right.
I mean, it's just not there. So to me, that's different than say World of Warcraft. They're kind of two different fields to kind of look at independently of each other. It's not just black and white. You know, World of Warcraft or you know,
Master of Magic.
Or I was gonna say Galaxies Online, Star Wars Galaxy.
Star Wars.
Like those two are different than Masters of Magic because you know an MMO subscription based is a bit different in that regard.
Right. I think ultimately you have to side. I mean, we are in an age where it's no longer the product; it's a service. Therefore, when the service stops, you have to stop using it, which is unfortunate. But at the same
time, I wish. This is me being an idealist. Yeah. I wish we as the consumer had more rights in that regards to be able to do with that product as we wished.
Right.
And I believe we should. I think we should be able to, for servers to shut down, be able to reproduce that server as we want, assuming we're not making a monetary profit off of that. So I think as consumers we should be able to, at least. That's the way I look at it, and I know technically, legally speaking, you're buying it as a license.
Right.
I don't necessarily agree with that model. But that's the reality of the world we live in America, is that that's what you're buying, and as a gamer, I know that's what I made myself into. I just wish it weren't that way necessarily.
Right. I agree. I mean, there's, you know, quite a few games that I would love to play, or never got a chance to play, that I would still love to play.
Legally.
And
that's the amazing thing is, you know, you look at these video games and look at like Baldur's Gate, Enhanced Edition, which is like 2 extra characters, and I may have better graphics. I don't know. And look at that. It comes out on Steam, and it's like, it's a whole new revolution. I mean, we've seen that these old abandoned video games can be re-resurrected and turn a pretty nice profit for what's embedded. Basically, no work whatsoever. Okay, some work. Sorry, some work. Not as much as actually producing the game from scratch, at least. But
depends on how far we're jumping up.
Yeah, you just
Hi,
gotta.
I'm now your one fan. That's great. Thank you, RageMan42.
Well, maybe you just gotta have like the virtual reality technology with it. Not virtual reality. Virtual machine technology installed with it. That's all you need.
Thank you.
So that's me being an idealist. That you can do whatever the hell you want with your video game, but that's not.
Well, I mean,
reality.
okay. Let's be honest. If like, let's say, I'm just gonna make up a game. Super Awesome Dudes 4.
Starring Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Jean-Claude Van Damme as every character in the game.
Doing splits.
What's your favorite type of game? Platformer, fighter, shooter, etc.
MMOs.
His is MMOs. Mine is, I would say action adventure now. I mean, I play a lot of point-click adventures, and I do play my fair share of RPGs. So maybe action RPGs. I'm past the point of grind. If you're gonna make me grind for 30 hours, I will find you and punch you in the face. I don't have time to do that anymore. I'm just saying.
Fair enough. What can I say? I like my MMOs.
But okay, really quick, Super Awesome Man 4 by Jean-Claude Van Damme playing every single character. The one thing, like if let's say it's a multiplayer game, and so it's Abandonware, people are playing it, and they it's very popular, and then finally the developer comes out and goes, oh, we're going to re-release that game, an enhanced edition. What's to say that people are going to stop playing that and play the new thing? What's the mechanic? If you're going to allow them to play it, what's the mechanic to stop them from playing?
I think it comes down. Okay, I'm going to change genres a little bit.
Okay.
But I think part of it is the Netflix argument.
Okay.
Where you've been shown, well, legally speaking, probably, what we're talking about is in a way a form of piracy. In a way it is. That's just legal reality. But I think if you look at it from the Netflix standpoint, where it's been shown time and time again, by offering a viable, easily accessible way to access a digital product, people will buy that game or buy that digital product instead of pirating it. And it's no different than video games. Look at Steam and how many people, hand their money to Steam. For video games, we're probably never even going to freaking play because it's $2.99 for the summer sale. I'm not even going to look at the Steam summer sale.
No.
I refuse. I'm like, nope, close. But it's been shown time and time again where when developers and publishers do that, video games and movies alike and TV shows, when they have a digital distribution system that's easy to use and doesn't put you through a billion hoops, people will pay for that service or system. And I believe that's no different with video games. Where if Steam has shown, I will provide an easily accessible way to play my video games, I will pay for it. And so that's where I come on that argument.
All right, so RageMan42 basically said, Mustachio Pow, a game where a man's mustache grows in a fist and he punches man with his hairs. It's a side-scrolling brawler. That I might actually want to check out. That would be kind of damn cool.
It sounds like something out of, I don't know, the cowboy days. It sounds like something they need Clint Eastwood doing.
I feel like there was like a Adult Swim cartoon where like the mustache had a mind of its own and was able to like shoot the 6-shooters.
I wish I could grow a handlebar mustache, but it's not happening.
Yeah, no.
No, not even close.
Yes, it would be sick. RageMan42.
I would not be a very good cowboy.
Nor would I.
Yeah. Well, it's a good thing we live in, 2015.
Do we? Time is just an illusion.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Very nice. RageMan42 wants to add to the backstory, and he's an old-timey boxer, like in that meme.
Whenever I think of boxer and memes, I think of Mike Tyson's Punch-Out. It's a classic.
Yeah. I got pretty far in that one. The original, the Nintendo one.
I don't remember. The 8-bit graphics. They harken.
I could never beat Mike Tyson, but...
Well, nobody can beat Mike Tyson unless you're Buster Douglas.
Or unless he bit your ear off.
Well,
and you won by default.
Well, yeah, cheating will do that to you.
Hmm.
That's why I don't bite ears. I don't want to lose.
Yeah.
Unless it's cat ears.
Ew. Gross, man. You don't know where those ears have been. In all seriousness, though, yes, if there was a digital service like... I don't know if you can send a meme or not. I have no idea.
Like a link to a meme picture? I don't know.
I don't know if the links are enabled or not. But anyways, I would love to have like a Netflix-like service. I don't know how.
Well, they've tried, but they just haven't really worked very well.
We got GameTap. That was there for a while. And then you, of course, you got GameFly, but that's, well...
Well, that's what GOG, Good Old Games, that's what their predominant demographic was originally.
Mm-hmm.
Was being devoted towards Good Old Games, and they obviously... Nice.
I don't know if I could...
He has a handlebar mustache.
There we go. Mustache. You mean this thing I was born with?
So, like, Good Old Games made it work pretty well, selling old abandoned games, and then they published them. People like myself purchased them. So I think there is definitely that market, but I don't know. I'm not the bean counter. I'm sitting behind a calculator with an Excel spreadsheet.
But the thing about Good Old Games is that the vast majority of them were single-player games. There weren't a lot of multiplayer aspects to it.
Well, absolutely. I mean, online multiplayer, as we know, is a pretty relatively new innovation.
Right.
Comparatively speaking, for the history of video games.
Oh, man. Netflix should team with Steam and games. A lot of Netflix accounts are on the PlayStation 3 and Xbox One. Ad games. Right. Yeah, right.
Yeah. We've talked about that, but the issue you run into, because now you're probably talking about some kind of hosted video game solution where you're playing through like some kind of virtual remote host.
Is that the platformers aren't going to allow it.
Well, and lag.
Then that's on live. But the other part of the equation is Microsoft and Sony are not going to allow you to play games that you didn't purchase through their platform. It's like it's why you don't have the Apple App Store on any of the Google devices, and why you don't have the Google Play Store on any of the Apple devices, because the platform owner wants their marketplace to be the one and only way to play through it. Yes, I understand that it's going to be a streaming of games, but still, they would frown upon that very much so, because they want you to actually play the games on their system. And also, if you're playing a game, be it streamed or on their system, they have a liability piece to it, because if it doesn't work, then, people could probably go after the platform, so they won't allow that. Yes. They already have the Nintendo eShop. Right. Nintendo is, yeah. Nintendo has the eShop and whatever. And
I gave my Wii away when I moved to Minnesota. Or moved from Minnesota to Atlanta.
Sad day, so you don't have the paperweight anymore.
It's not taking up room on my 2x4 shelf.
Damn.
Yeah, I gave it to... I actually need to see if she's actually using it.
Well, there you go. All right, RageMan42, I really apologize, but we are at the end of our show. We are on every single Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern Time.
7 o'clock Central/Real Time.
He was from Minnesota. So.
Central Time is so much better than Eastern.
Whatever. Anyway, so please tune in for any of you individuals out there who are watching this either live or recorded. Please tune in 8 o'clock Eastern Time p.m. next Thursday for our next live broadcast. Now, of course, you can always reach out to us through our Facebook page, Altered Confusion, our Twitter feed, Altered Confusio, which is Altered Confusion without the N, because with the N would blow up Twitter. Let's just be honest.
Mm-hmm.
And then,
of course, like Justin Bieber.
I don't want to be associated with Bieber. Or, of course, you can hit us up at alteredconfusion.com. There's a Contact Us spot there. Just click on it. Send us an email. It comes straight to me. I will try my best to get to you as quickly as possible. I really, really want to apologize to the developers at Duck Bridge for accidentally losing their email for like a week. They have a game coming out called Luck Slinger. It's coming out on Steam in July. Definitely check out the trailer. We have it on our website and, of course, on Steam. So, thank you for tuning in to the Ultra Confusion Thursday Night Hangout. For myself, Charlie, and Zealeus, it's been a pleasure to give you the craziness coming out of our heads and, of course, some of the news that's happened during the week. But until next time, keep playing games, love the indies, and keep being cool.
Remember, kids, keep on gaming in the free world.
Amen to that, brother.